Hi, Ariana.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm like adjusting my camera here to see if something can make it better. It's like in your face. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How have you been?
Yeah, not bad. Busy. Things
Yeah.
have been a
You were
bit crazy. Huh?
were you out of town recently? You were.
Oh, yeah, we traveled a little bit for the fourth, but I was in the Netherlands for business for the first half of June,
Oh
and
my.
it felt like coming back from that, I got sick, I got a cold, and so like it just took like 2 weeks to recover from a 2 week trip. It felt like so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, how about you?
Good. Good. It's funny you say that about being in the Netherlands. I don't know if you know, I had the opportunity to be at the Hague with a
Oh
different
no, I didn't know that.
cohort on the beginning of May with
Oh,
a.
actually, I did know that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't realize they would have sent you though. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. We have one new affiliate in London, but
Mhm.
he's newer, so he may be engaged later on. But just at this
Mhm.
moment in time, there were two of us from the U.S. that flew over
Mhm.
and did a
So
session.
you would have met. Let me think. I think Deepika Patel was in that
Yep,
one. Did you
yep,
meet Deepika and Carolyn Moshel?
yep, yep, yep.
Lovely. And
They
I,
are.
yeah, I probably know a few others, but those two specifically mentioned that they were there. So how
Yeah,
fun. Well, cool. Yeah,
yeah.
we probably just missed each other actually.
I know. I was there on. I came back on Cinco de Mayo. I remember that. Um,
Yeah, yep, yep. And I flew over basically, yeah, 4 weeks later.
yeah. Oh, good.
Anyway,
A little
well,
one.
I have two little ones. Yeah, four
Great.
and two.
So that must have been hard to be away for 2 weeks.
Yes. Well, anyway, not as hard as I was expecting actually until closer to the end.
Really?
There was a few days there. I was there for a big meeting and I was kind of stressed about how it was going to go and there was a lot of detailed design that I was working through and then they also had me MC one of the days for the
Okay.
sessions. And so let me make sure that my ringer is not going to disturb us.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so my mind was full of all these sort of detailed work things, and basically the day after I got there that was over, and then I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I have like 8 more days.
Oh,
So
and
then I
then
was
you
missing
really
them.
start
Yeah.
missing hard. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. But my mom was sending lots of videos and pictures and stuff. We flew her out to watch the little ones, so that was nice.
That's good. Well,
Yeah.
since I figured this wouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes to do this, and I just want to start by saying, Ariana, thank you for taking the time to
Sure.
provide a video. I really appreciate it. I don't remember what you know about and what on Anna Grace had emailed, but basically her request was that in order to expose more leaders within HR to the option of flawless consulting before even
Okay.
asking them to come to a half-hour webinar virtual session introducing
Mhm.
it, she wanted to
Mhm.
provide something to them that was more bite-sized and just to get to get them introduced to the concept and whether they would want to pursue
Ah.
more knowledge of it.
So
And
the target audience is HR professionals.
so,
Yeah.
good question. It's HR professionals, both leaders, eh, leaders slash sponsors, and or participants. So
Okay.
people who could be watching this might themselves be a participant and or a sponsor.
Okay. Okay.
So the questions that I shared with you, I thought would be of interest and value to both those perspectives because
Yeah,
you're
that makes sense to
yeah you're speaking
me.
obviously as a participant, but that's relevant to a business leader who might engage his or her team and maybe then go
Mhm.
themselves as well. So,
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. This is a really vain question.
please.
But can you see the portrait behind me? Like, can you see that in the frame?
I can see I can
The
see the
very
bottom
edge.
of the frame. So
It's a sort of intimidating picture of some lions that I do not want to be in the canon of the the video, the longevity of your advertisement. So I'm trying to make sure that you get me, but not
yeah,
that without taking it off the wall.
yeah,
Anyway, okay.
yeah, that's great.
Other than that, I'm ready to go. I did have some reflection on your question, so thank you for sending those in advance.
You're welcome. So I'll just dive in then. What did you enjoy, Ariana, most about the Flawless Consulting Workshop?
You know, it was a really dynamic workshop. So there was a lot to enjoy. I think for me in particular, the opportunity to connect with other HR professionals. Of course, we've just changed our HR model. And so being able to commiserate and understand what other people are going through as we shifted into this consultancy framework, I think was really, really helpful. Getting the external insights. So certainly the model that you shared with us was so interesting, right? And it helped to, I think, broaden all of our perspectives about what it means to be a consultant, external or internal, right? And so there was a lot of interesting discussion about that I really appreciated. And then I also really appreciated the role modeling aspect, right? So being able to really dive in with case studies and with our peer group to actually experiment real time with the model, I think was really helpful. So I appreciated it. Mm-hmm.
Great. Good to know. And I'm curious, was there, this isn't one of the questions, but you mentioned the internal versus external framework. Was there anything that was, how do I ask the question in a way that's going to set up a relevant answer for people to hear? Was there any difference between internal and external consulting that you heard?
I think that's a really great question. So going in, you read the book and you have an appreciation for what it means to be an external consultant. He also goes into a bit of that internal consultant. One of the things that kind of surprised me, which is a question that you wanted to ask me, was this idea of kind of appreciating my own skills as a commodity, my own skills, my own expertise as a commodity, right? And so as an internal consultant or an internal person, a functional person especially, you can sort of be typecast into feeling like a pair of hands. And it was this notion of really trying to understand and quantify, qualify my expertise in this kind of consulting model that I think was really helpful. And I think it is that external piece that helps you to realize that. So I hope my answer is making sense. But yeah, that was something that I think there is a difference. But even trying to think about your skills from an external perspective, I think is really, really useful to helping you be a better internal consultant. Yeah.
So true. It makes perfect sense. Whether we share that on the video or not, we'll see. But I know that we hear that so much about external versus internal, and is this relevant to me? And it's intended to be focused on internal, but I think you're absolutely right, Ariana, that when we can sort of step out of our own role and the day-to-day and the enmeshment, if you will,
Yeah.
get into the subject matter knowledge of the relationships that we have, to say, how am I different, and conscious of those boundaries, it can help us then be even more intentional about bringing that value to our clients. Yeah.
That's well said. Absolutely.
So what results have you seen from applying the Flawless Consulting tools and frameworks in your work, either with clients and or within HR?
Yeah, no, that's also a really intriguing question. I think for me, over and above is the better contracting. Contracting is the first stage of consulting, right? And I think it's really easy as you get more experience, as you feel like you've built a relationship and internal credibility, all these kinds of things. It's probably easy to glaze over that piece. But that is by far, I think, the most important piece. Even if you do everything else wrong, which hopefully you don't, if you can contract well in the front end, then I think that alleviates, so many issues moving forward, right? So that you have that internal understanding, that mutual agreement as to what it is that you're embarking on, and you also, to my earlier point, you recognize the expertise and the skills that you're bringing, and then you have the confidence to ask for what you need and what you want, right? So for me, that was. I guess it continues to be a really good result. And I actually like talking to other HR professionals too, to just kind of test and see what kinds of ways they're contracting, and also injecting things that I've learned, whether from the book or the face-to-face course as well, right? So it gives you a little bit of an ability to coach others through that phase of consulting as well. So yeah, I've had fun utilizing the model.
That's great. When you think of a specific time when you contracted and intentionally and thoughtfully in a way that's different than you've done in the past, and was there something different about the project that happened, or the way in which you worked that was different and more beneficial to the client, to the organization?
Yeah, so I've also taken a kind of this business partnering skills and business partnering course, and so they have this model where you talk about the different ways you can partner as a functional expert, as a functional partner to the business, and when you contract well, when I have contracted well, I feel so much more confident in what I'm doing simply because I recognize the role that I'm meant to play and how I can sort of ingratiate myself, how I can challenge, how I can give feedback, all of that is very clear, and so I think it allows you to kind of bring your full self to the table in an authentic way, at least for me, when you know kind of where the boundary conditions lie, and I think it also helps you kind of hit the ground running, right? So for me, the relationship is a big aspect as well, and so when you do the contracting well, then it starts the relationship off on a good I guess good point as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be completely seamless and it's not going to be without challenge, but at least you have that mutual understanding to help steady the playing field so that you both feel at least comfortable and confident in what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. And that's, it would be so interesting to try to monetize that or quantify that in the confidence, but,
Yeah,
but, but it's an experience that we know has value. Cause if I'm, gosh, just intuitively, if I know that I'm more confident, I'm bringing a whole lot more to the table in terms
that's
of
right.
my subject matter expertise that I'm offering up because I'm feeling confident. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What surprised you most about the experience?
Yeah, we touched on this a little bit, but it really was that mentality of appreciating what I bring to the table more. I mean, of course, I consider myself a professional. I take pride in being, professional and able to work and bring solutions and all these kinds of things. But really looking at the lens of a true consultant and what I'm bringing to the table, and not just being very quick to be a subservient, a subservient functional partner or addition to the mix, but really this kind of 50-50 collaborative partner. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. And that's, I appreciate you saying that like you showed up with a lot to offer and you knew that. And what surprised you is that there was more to say,
Yeah.
show up as a full partner, not just as a really
Yeah.
good pair of hands.
One of the modules, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but there was literally a situation where we had to express our needs and wants. And that for me was something that it was kind of just like, this feels strange. It felt weird, but it was so empowering on the back end. It's kind of like you felt like you're going through the motions a little bit at first, but then you're like, no, I'm asking for what I need and for what I want, and it felt so foreign to me. That's what made me realize that how little of it I had been doing before, right? And it's so important to ask for what you need and for also what you want. You're allowed to have wants. so so that to me is where that's the crux that I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
Great. Were there other elements? And so this question comes from, and this may not be applicable because we did the coaching, but we didn't have the learning. No, we did have the learning portal in place.
Mhm.
So any other elements of the Flawless Consulting learning journey that you found useful?
I really liked the follow-up coaching, the one-on-one coaching. I really did like that. Yeah, that was a great addition, and hopefully it remains a part of the course, right? So the face-to-face I know was an improvement on before the virtual offering. The portal itself I think was useful to have for pre-work. I know you guys introduced the app, I think, right when we were coming into the face-to-face session. I didn't find myself referring to it very often, but it's always nice to have it if you need it, and even thereafter to revisit it. So yeah, I think as a package, it was really really well thought out and very intentional.
How would you quantify the value of the coaching to you personally in your own experience,
Quantify? I don't
or
know. That's an interesting
describe even?
question. Yeah. I think it helped me to, again, you get the one-on-one, and so you can personalize a lot of what you are really trying to apply. You have somebody to partner with you through the challenges who is, coming from that position of expertise, right? So yourself, as opposed to just kind of bouncing it off other people who are sort of equally as knowledgeable about the model, which is can be handy as well. But yeah, to really have that kind of one-on-one to kind of hone and to tweak things, to even run through maybe a few different scenarios as to how something can play out. I thought that was really really quite nice. And then even I think you and I ended up having some broader conversations even still. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, great. Thanks. That's good to know. And so what advice would you give to someone considering registering for Flawless Consulting?
That's easy. So definitely register. Keep an open mind. Be willing to learn and to share and to look at things from a different perspective. And I think you'll get a lot out of it.
That's great. Thank you so much, Ariana. This is really helpful. I really appreciate your, I mean, I just enjoyed having you in the session as well, because your perspective is really thoughtful, really, you obviously have done this work and you bring a lot to the table. And I appreciated the fact that you were so open to thinking about things differently. So, and you're very articulate just in sharing these great little sound bites. So thank you for doing
Oh, nice. There you go.
Sound bites, right?
Absolutely. It's all about the soundbite, the power of the soundbite.
Yeah.
Do you have 2 more minutes? I was going to tell you something else off record.
What's that?
So you're still recording. Is it okay?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let me start. Yeah.